We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams. Okay, we are back. It is December 7th, 2023. And that date is significant, and I'll tell you why. But not before a few disclaimers. These videos are completely unedited and unfiltered. So even though tonight I'm talking about a family-friendly movie, yes, adult things might come out of my mouth, as they always do. So if your kids are in the room, you probably want to ask them to leave the room or put your headphones on. And spoilers will happen, especially for the movie that I'm reviewing, but sometimes for other things because I go off on tangents, start talking about things, and I might give spoilers for other movies. Have no fear. I will put a list of movies underneath this video that show all the movies I mention, and I'll have a header that says spoilers. So if you want to avoid spoilers, you'll be able to avoid spoilers for anything I might give spoilers away for. Tonight, we are doing challenge number 10 in the book. Challenge number 10, a family-friendly movie. What is the title? The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we will get to why tonight is significant for that film. But let's just move on with the book. Year released, 2005. Aspect ratio, 2.39:1. Running time, 2 hours and 23 minutes. A little longer than I remembered it. I was like, whoa, okay, that's a little long for a family-friendly movie, for a Disney fun, Disney-ish movie. Distributed by Disney, but not like wholly Disney. Genre, action, family, fantasy. Okay, I get it. Great. Rated PG, of course. Okay. Date challenge completed tonight, December 7th, 2023. I've already made that date very specific, and you'll know why very soon. My rating. I am biased to this movie. Maybe not everybody would rate it 5 out of 5, but I do because I am biased, and you will see why. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. I am rating it literally right now on IMDb. 10 out of 10. Boom, right there under my... I have a pro account, so I'm rating it. Starring. Way too many to put on these little lines. Why do you give me such little lines, stupid book, for starring? There's too many people starring to put on these little lines. Okay, we are going to go. We're going to start off with William Moseley, and I'm going to say why later on. Okay, Tilda Swinton is amazing in this movie. I love her. Georgie Henley, Skylar Keynes, Anna Popwell, James McAvey? I always want to say McAvoy, and I know that's not right. McAvey. Jim Broadbent. Kieran Sean. James Cosmo. Oh, I love it. And I'll say why. And so many other people in this movie. Jim Broadbent. Did I say that? I mean, just this cast is really good. Directed by Andrew Adamson. Produced by Mark Johnson and Philip Stauer. S-T-E-U-E-R. Stauer. I hope I'm saying that right. There was other production, co-production, assistant production, blah, 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 blah. But I only put down what IMDb says as producer. Written by, the book is C.S. Lewis. I read the first two, I think. I don't think I've read all of them. I know I haven't read all of them. I know. And I think maybe I've read the first two and didn't read all of them. C.S. Lewis is the books. Andrew Adamson and... Oh, you know what? I have a little note on the books to look at the IMDb because there are a lot of people who are credited with writing. So obviously C.S. Lewis is the book, but Anna Peacock, Andrew Adamson, Christopher Marcus, and Stephen McFeely. Okay, they're all credited for the screenplay. Music by Harry Gregson Williams, and God bless it, he did a fantastic job. I fucking love this score. It's brilliant. It's gorgeous. It's another score that I could just listen to over and over, like so many that I've mentioned before. It's such a moving, emotional, and beautiful score. He did such a great job. And he's done some other he's done some other things that I know of, and I'm like, okay, it sounds semi-similar. He has movements that sound semi-similar. He's very sweeping when he does some of his music. Ooh. Today is not apple cider. Today is cocoa. Hot cocoa. But again, hot. Anyway, moving on. After the music, awards received. It actually got an Academy Award for Best Makeup. Okay, great. I don't know what else was nominated for Best Makeup, but the makeup in this was brilliant. So I'm glad. Why did you choose this particular film? Okay, here we get to why the date is significant. Why did I choose this film? Because today, December 7th, 2023, is the 18th anniversary of the world premiere of this film in London, England. And I was there at the world premiere. I was there. Okay. Have you seen this movie before? I just gave it away. I was at the world premiere. Okay, if you remember Fandango, is Fandango still a thing? I'm sure it is. It's still around. I didn't think anything of it, but I took my friends to go see. I saw Saw, which is totally irrelevant to this film, like not even adjacent. But I saw the movie Saw, and I was so blown away. I said, you got to see this movie. It's amazing. It's fantastic. And a handful of my friends went with me to see that film, Saw. And in the theater, oh my God, I'm almost positive. I hope I'm not screwing myself up here. Hold on 1 second. Saw, the original Saw film. Yes, that's what I thought. I went and saw the original Saw film, and all my friends came with me, and we passed a poster because this movie was like coming next year, blah 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 blah. Because I think we saw I think when I saw it in 2004 when it came out, but when I took them, I think it came out in like October or November, and then, I may be fucking this whole thing up, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves, I took them to go see this movie in early 2005. And on the wall was a poster for Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia, and I was like, the poster was different than the poster you see now on IMDb, but the poster had, a big portion of it was the lion, and then the kids and William Moseley. And I had such a crush on him. Oh my God, I had such a crush on him at the time. And before you freak out, he's only a few years younger than me, so age is relative. At the time, I had a crush on him. I was young, and I had a crush on him. And I told my friends, I want to see this movie because I had read the book, and I was excited for the movie. And not only that, but I thought he was, like I said, I had a crush on him. Anyway, there was a sweepstakes, and I told them at the time. One of my friends was with me, and I said, I entered the sweepstakes to go to London and watch the world premiere. If I win, will you go with me? And he goes, yeah, I'll go with, sure, fine. Neither one of us took it seriously. And lo and behold, I won. I was not the first winner. Long story short, I was not the first winner. The first winner they couldn't get a hold of. The second winner they couldn't get a hold of. The third winner, they sent me an email. And if I remember correctly, they also left me a voicemail. That's why I was like, oh, maybe I should call these people back. Is this real? So I called them back, and she literally told me, you are the third place winner. You're not the first place winner. We just couldn't get a hold of anybody. If you have a passport, then and you have three, because the sweepstakes was you and three friends go to London to the world premiere of The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. I'm trying not to make this a 5-hour video by telling you the story. Okay? And she said, if you have a passport and you have three friends who have a passport, then you are the winner. We will award you this thing. If you don't, then we can't. And I said, how long do I have to get a passport? Because I didn't have a passport, but I lived, 45 minutes from San Francisco, which you can get an emergency passport in San Francisco. San Francisco and LA are the two places in California where you can get an emergency passport. Anyway, I was like, well, how long do I have? She says, you have 48 hours. If you can tell me in 48 hours that you have three friends or three people you can take with you, then you win. And I was like, I told my friend, do you have a passport? After the phone call, I said, do you have a passport? He goes, yeah, I have a passport. And I go, I need to get one. I don't have one. I can get an emergency one in San Francisco so I can tell her I have one, but I need 2 other people that have passports, and I don't know anybody who has passports. And I was like, I really want this. Like, I want to go. Absolutely. So he says, yes, I have 2 friends, his friends, that have passports. And I said, let's do it. So we went. We went on the 5th. We left on the 5th. But I remember the premiere was on the 7th. And what do I have right here? I still have... Look, I still have it. And I'm going to try to do this on camera the best I can. If you open it, there's the ticket. You can see the ticket. You can see there the ticket for the... can you see it? The premiere party. Yeah, premiere party ticket. So I got to go to the premiere party afterwards. And this has a cool little write-up about it. It was like, oh my God. I got to go to the world premiere of the Chronicles of Narnia. And... you know, I had and who was there in attendance? The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall were in attendance at the premiere. So we actually got to go to the premiere at the Royal Albert Hall, and they were up behind us in a balcony. And I got this cool premiere book with all kinds of information in it. And I was in heaven. I was like, oh my God. Not only is this the first time I've left the country, the first time I've been on an airplane, the first time that I've been in London, the first time for so many things, the first time for a film premiere, I was out of my mind. I had this white tux that made me look like James Bond, even though I was a little heavy at the time. I was probably 230, 250 pounds. I was heavy and not muscular like I am today. I was fat. Anyway, no. I may have lost. No. By that time, I was 250 in high school. By this time, I was just out of high school, so I was probably in the earlier 200s. Anyway, my weight is not relevant. When I went, like I said, I had a huge crush on William Moseley, and when we left the premiere, after seeing the premiere, we were in the hallway, leaving the theater, Royal Albert Hall, going towards where the premiere party was. And we ran into the kids. All 4 of them. Of course, I'm like enamored by William Moseley. Oh my God, it's William Moseley. And my friends get their book signed by all the kids. Like, can you sign? Can you sign? And I didn't care about, honestly, I didn't care about anybody but William Moseley. And I was like, can you sign my book? And he was the only one that I could. He said, yeah, I'll sign your book. And I said, and he goes, where are you from? And I said, what's your name? And I said, Elijah. Yeah, I'll put your name. And he goes, and I said, I live in California, and I know one of these days I am meant for film. I've done a production of this, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I played Aslan, and I can't wait to get to LA and be making film. And I shit you not, William Moseley said to me, I should be getting your autograph. That's what he said to me. So he leans over to write his autograph on his knee. And I put my hand on his shoulder, and I'm chatting with him, and I'm dying. It's William Moseley. And he's the only one, as you can see, who signed my book, my premiere book. And that was like the absolute vacation trip of a lifetime. And I will never forget it. And that was 18 years ago today. And William Moseley has a great career. He's doing some great work. And I still find him insanely attractive, of course. Anyway, it is December 7th, the 18th anniversary of the year I went to see the premiere, the world premiere in London. Moving on, would you recommend... Moving on from that, how do you move on from that? Would you recommend this film, why or why not? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is, like The Challenges, a family-friendly movie. This is a PG film, family-friendly. Even though there's a war and there's fighting, it's very tastefully and artfully done, and nothing too crazy violent, and nothing too scary. It's a beautiful story. You know, C.S. Lewis wrote a beautiful story, and I know he was heavy-handed on the Christian aspect of it, the Christian religious, but it's not itself Christian and religious. So anybody of any religion could watch this. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's fantastic. Very well made. Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with in what way? And I've told you before, I hate this question. I hate this question. Stop asking me this question. So I changed it in the book. I said, which character would you date? Well, which actor would you date? William Moseley, of course. Anyway, let's move on. Best line or memorable quote for Narnia and for Aslan. I love that. I love that line. It's so powerful and so wonderful. That's the line that pops into my mind. But to tell you the truth, when I think of this story, because I have read the book multiple times, and like I said, I was in a production of this, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, in which I played Aslan. Okay? It was really cool costuming. I'll talk about that later. And makeup. Really cool makeup and costuming. Really well done. Anyway, I'm prejudiced because I was in the production. Another line that always, like, every time I think of this story, period, I always think of Spare because that line always... it's always cute and like, this is ridiculous. I love that. Spare So, because of my personal connection to this story, not just this film, but this story, Spare always means something to me. And so, as a memorable line, that pops in my mind. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? No, I've read this story before and I was in a production of it. So no, I was not surprised by the ending and I wouldn't do anything different. And I will talk about, I have notes for the ending of the film. It's really well done. I like it. What elements do you believe are necessary to create an entertaining, family-oriented film? Do you feel this movie had those things? A family-friendly movie needs to appeal to everyone, and I think there are elements of this film that appeals to everyone, including personalities, because every kid, every child in this film has a different personality, and you might identify with or agree with a different child than I would, you know? And growing up in a big family, the way the kids, and I have a note about this, the way these kids relate to each other is totally like siblings. Oh my God. So that's how you make a great family film. Did this do it? Absolutely. It did. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say? I have a bunch of notes. The little thing at the bottom here says family-friendly films generally have higher box office and home video revenues. Excuse me. Let's try that again. Family-friendly films generally have higher box office and home video revenues due to their much broader audience. Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Okay, let's move on. I love the soundtrack. I've already said that. Such a beautiful soundtrack. So sweeping and moving, and I can just listen to it and just... I mean, in my brain, because this came out in December... And because they talk about Christmas in the movie, I tend to feel like this is a Christmas film. And so I don't listen to the soundtrack all the time. But when it comes Christmas, I can't get enough of it. I associate it definitely with Christmas. The air raid in the beginning is brilliant. It's very intense. They filmed this film. I have a lot of little insider things because I've read, but I think it was my brother. I can't remember 100%, but right here on my bookshelf, I have this big book, all kinds of information about the film. And so I read up about this film, not just the book I got at the premiere, but the book that I think it was my brother that got me this book for Christmas. The year I went and saw it, he got me this for Christmas, I think. I'm almost positive. I'm normally really good about that, but this fails me. I think it was my brother, and I might be wrong about that. But anyway, I read up about this film a lot, so I have a lot of little insider things. I won't I probably won't mention all of them, but I'll probably throw some of them. I know that they filmed this film in order. Why? Because you're dealing with kids. It's much like the Harry Potter series, you're dealing with kids of that age. You did not cast kids who are in their 20s, like Smallville, who are trying to play, 16, 17. It just doesn't work. You're 20. You're 22. Anyway, they cast kids, and kids age. And when you age as kids, you change significantly. You grow taller, your voice changes, your appearance kind of changes. So they filmed this film in order as much as possible because they knew the kids would change. I don't know why I brought that up, but I love the beginning. The beginning is very intense with the air raid. I guess I brought that up because this movie is filmed in order, and so we're moving with the kids. I already said that. Hide and seek. The hide and seek in the beginning is gorgeous. I could talk about every scene in this movie, literally, but I'm trying to just pick scenes that are significant. I can really talk. I could literally talk about everything in this film. But the hide and seek, that really high, loud, where they crank the music, that song, I don't know what song that is, but it's so wonderful and light and la da 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 da, and you're like, and she's trying to find a place, and then her brother steals her place, and she's upset, and she's trying to find, and the music is high and wonderful. You're almost listening to Chuck Berry or something, something of that era. You're like, da da da, and then the music cuts brilliantly when she sees the wardrobe. Yes, the wardrobe is covered, but she opens the door, sees the wardrobe covered, and the music cuts. Ba-da-da-da-da. And you're like, oh, it's almost chilling. It's so well done. And speaking of chilling, even to this day, tonight, I just watched this film, and I still got goosebumps all over my entire fucking body. When she pulls the sheet off the wardrobe, they got lucky as fuck. I don't know how many times they had to film this. They got lucky because it's gorgeous. The way the sheet moves off and they slow it down. Just thinking about it gives me chills. It is gorgeous the way the sheet moves and falls, how they caught it from below and caught it from multiple different angles, and it moves like that. It's gorgeous, and then reveals the wardrobe. Wow. If nothing else, please put this movie on and just watch that quick little part because it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Whoever captured that shot needs to have his feet kissed. His feet kissed. Or her feet kissed. Okay, moving on. The transition to Narnia is great. I think it's fantastic. It's wonderful. I know it's coming because I know the story. So I wrote this note for later, but I'm going to say it now. It's a challenge when you're making a movie of a beloved story, a story that has been read by millions. When you make The Lord of the Rings, it's hard to catch people by surprise because everybody fucking knows the story. Not necessarily Harry Potter, because Harry Potter was coming out as the movies were coming out. A little behind. Okay, the movies were coming out a little behind the books, but not everybody had read them like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, like The Lord of the Rings. Everybody had read them for years, decades, literally decades, before the movie came out, this movie. Yes, this has been done before. Yes, The Lord of the Rings, there was a cartoon edition, so yes, that had been done before. But we're talking about this Andrew Adamson version of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and we're talking about the Jackson version of Lord of the Rings. When these movies came out and made a huge and serious impact, it's hard to catch people by surprise because they already know the story. But it still did a good job of trying it's best to catch you by surprise. If there's anybody out there that doesn't know the story, I think you would be surprised because they do a good job. And that transition into Narnia was so well done. So well done. I love the snow. I love cold weather, which is why I have all my windows open right now in LA, and it's in the I wish it were in the 50s. Is it actually in the 57? Oh, I wish it were in the 40s now. Now that it's in the 50s, I wish it were in the 40s. And I'm walking around in my boxers and a tank top. Well, I'm wearing my unpaid shirt right now. But normally I walk around in my boxers and my tank top because I love the cold weather. And watching this movie is just gorgeous. All that beautiful snow. I love it. Georgie and James. So Georgie Henley and James McAvey. I keep wanting to say McAvoy, and I don't know where that comes from. McAvoy. It is McAvoy. McAvoy. It is McAvoy. Am I wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. How do you pronounce James McAvoy. Oh man, I have the microphone plugged in so I can't hear it. McAvoy. I think it is McAvoy. Oh my god, maybe I was wrong. McAvoy. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, James, that I cannot pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. I think it's McAvoy. So I will say McAvoy, and if I am wrong, James, I'm sorry, and if I ever meet you, I swear to God, I'm going to ask, how the fuck do you pronounce your name? Because for some reason, my brain cannot do it. Nothing against you, because you are great in this film. Okay, so Georgie Henley and James McAvoy, they became really good friends on the set before they ever filmed, because they did plenty of rehearsals, I'm sure. They made it a point to make sure that Georgie Henley never saw James in makeup. Ever. So when you first see them meet in the film, that is the first time Georgie sees James in makeup, and her reaction is real. Her scream, her reaction is real. Because she's never seen him in makeup. She was like, whoa! I love that. I love that little tidbit of information. I love that. Okay, we are at 27 minutes, and I have like a ton of pages, so I need to move. Okay. This is the first movie I remember James McAvoy. This is the first movie I remember Tilda Swinton. This is the first movie I remember. Was there some... Oh, Jim Broadbent. Those three characters, I know they have made films before, but this was the first movie that I took note of them. It's unfortunate because they're not American actors, none of them are, that I didn't really take note of them until this film. But since this film, God bless it, they are fantastic. I love all three of them. They are great. James McAvoy in Atomic Blonde. Wow, I love him in that film. Jim Broadbent in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Whoa, like brilliant performance. And Tilda Swinton in everything. We need to talk about Kevin and Burn After Reading and just so many. She's just so brilliant. She's just so great. Constantine. She's just so great. Anyway, I made multiple notes, so that's that. I won't have to read those notes. Tumnus's house is so cute. I love it. It's so well done. I think a lot of the sets in this movie are so well done. How do we make this look real and homey and wonderful? And they did a great job. Great job. Always winter, never Christmas. They mentioned Christmas, and I love that line. Always winter, never Christmas. And it's been a long time since I read the book, but I think that is in the book. And I liked it. I love the tune that he plays. And I know some people are thinking, did he drug her with the tea? No, he hypnotized her with the music. That's the whole point of the fire and the movement in the fire and what's playing in the fire. And this probably won't sound anything like a Narnian lullaby. Why? Because he hypnotizes her. He puts her to sleep. And I love as he's doing that, because you can see the subtle hints of guilt on his face. James McAvoy, like amazing, the subtle hints of guilt on his face. And then when Aslan shows up in the fire, oh, I love it. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. Very well done. It's not something I've done. It's something I am doing. I'm kidnapping you. So well done. You can hear and feel and see the angst and the turmoil and the I'm doing this, but I don't really want to. You know, I thought you were my friend, and that's what gets him to go, I can't do this. And then he frees her. Such a great part. Such a great part. But we don't get the significance of it because we haven't been in Narnia. We don't know the rules of Narnia. We don't know what's going on in Narnia, but we get that it's serious. We get from that scene that something serious is really going on here. And of course they don't believe her, you know. They don't believe Lucy when she comes back. And, you know, Edmund makes that little joke about, you know, of course there's a football field in the bathroom cabinet or whatever. The music, again, there are so many times I wrote this note. The music is beautifully done. So, like, this is, the music is like a cut above the movie. The movie is great, but the music is like a cut above the movie. It outlasts the movie. It's like Braveheart. It outlasts the movie. It's like Jurassic Park. It outlasts the movie. It's like a cut above the movie. I'm not distracted by it, but boy, you notice it. Dances with Wolves. There are certain movies where you notice Tombstone. You notice the music like kind of is a cut above what you're watching because you're like, wow, you notice the music. And you can listen to it all day long. Great score. Tilda Swinton is brilliant in this film. I love her. When she first shows up, I met her. She was very sweet. Actually, I met a bunch of them. Tilda Swinton was very sweet. The kids were all sweet. Georgie Henley, James Cosmo was amazing. His hands are like Jesus. When I shook his hand, because I was like, I loved you in Braveheart. I loved you in Braveheart. And he's like, thank you. And he shook my hand. And God, my hand like was swimming in the palm. His hand is so huge and rough. I was like, Jesus. You know. And side note, Rufus Sewell was at the premiere. He was not in this film, but he was at the premiere. And I just had to stop him and say, wow, you know, I loved you in Hamlet. I loved you in Dark City. And he was very appreciative and very sweet guy. Very nice guy. Down to earth. Anyway, moving on. The weapons. Okay, so when Edmund goes to Narnia and he's stopped by Ginnebrick because the White Witch's sleigh goes by. When he gets stopped by Ginnebrick puts the knife to his neck. Okay, I made this note because Weta Works, like I said, I did a lot of reading. Weta Works did the armory and the weaponry for this film. It's beautifully done. It's gorgeous design. The design is gorgeous. Like a lot of it is just pretty as fuck. The armor and the weaponry. But several times you're looking at it going, it's not realistic. And this is one of the points. When Ginnebrick's dagger at no point looks even remotely sharp. Even remotely sharp. I get he's putting it to Edward's neck or, Skander's neck, Skander Keen's. He's putting it to his neck. I get that, and you want to be careful. But at no point in any direction does that knife look. It just looks like a big, thick piece of metal and not sharp at all. Not like a knife or a dagger at all. Turkish. Oh my God, I love Turkish Delight. I read about this Turkish Delight in the book and was like, what is Turkish Delight? I have to try this. What is this? And ever since I've tried it, I love Turkish Delight. So if the White Witch wanted to get me, she could probably get me with Turkish Delight. Not really, but yes. But not really. But yes. I love when she cleans Edmund's mouth with Ginnebrick's hat. And Ginnebrick's all irritated. She cleans his mouth and she gives it back and he's like, Ginnebrick does really good. Okay, I hate to say bad things about people. Kieran Shaw. I hate to say bad, and I'm not saying bad. His acting is not on par with the other people in the cast, in my opinion. But his physical acting is brilliant. Like his physical, everything he does physically, his facial, his hand, his movements, brilliant. He's brilliant. But his line delivery is not, in my opinion, not the greatest. Not on par with everybody else. At times. Sometimes I think it's great. Sometimes I'm like, eh. But his physical acting is brilliant. And this is one of the times when he wipes his hat. And then when she gives him the Turkish Delight, he's like, eat it. Because he knows that what he throws is going to turn it, because it's not real. It's all manipulation with her magic. So he knows it's going to turn into snow or turn into whatever. And so he eats it real quick before it turns it. It's brilliant. It's great. White Witch or Queen of Narnia. Ooh, I love that, right? If you haven't read the story, here's this nice hint of like, is she, when Edmund's already met her, and then Edmund and Lucy meet up, and Edmund knows her as the Queen of Narnia, but then Lucy says she's the White Witch, but she thinks she's the Queen of Narnia. I love that little hint of like, who is she? Why? What? It's great. Broadbent has such a small part, but he's brilliant. Turn it up. No small parts. Turn it up to 11. He's great. You're not saying you believe her. What? You don't? You're supposed to be family. I was so excited when he got the part in Harry Potter. I was like, oh yes, because he made such an impact with such a small part in this film that when he did Harry Potter, I was insanely excited because I was like, yes, Jim Broadbent. I loved him in Chronicles of Narnia. Absolutely. I love that they're running from MacReady when they all get into they're like running from her when, is it MacReady? They're running from her when they accidentally go into the wardrobe, all of them together. It's a really neat way to get them into the wardrobe. I love that they take the coats. The coats look great on them. I remember the illustration in the book. The book that I read, the illustrations looked perfect for what the film looked like. It was great. Did that bird just psst us? It always makes me laugh when she says that. Did that bird just psst us? Well, I'm not going to smell it if that's what you want. The Mr. Beaver. Okay, no, I'm not trying to be... Here, I'm going to look at the full cast. This is not a slight on anyone in any way or shape or form, okay? But when I hear Mr. Beaver, for some reason, I always hear Bob Hoskins. And I don't know why. And it's Ray Winston. Winston. He's great. I love Ray. And then the more I hear it, the more I'm going, that's not Bob Hoskins, it's Ray Winston. But when I first hear him, the first couple of lines, the first maybe couple of scenes, for whatever reason, I keep hearing Bob Hoskins in my brain. And I'm like, it's Ray Winston. He's great. He's fantastic. Look at my fur. You could have given me 10 minutes warning. I would have given you a month if I would have thought that would have worked. The Mr. and Mrs. Beaver's dichotomy is wonderful. It's fantastic. Aslan's on the move. They don't even know about the prophecy. So this whole scene with the beavers is great. Because here we get how significant the prophecy is for the Narnians. And the Pevensies don't know what the fuck is going on. They're clueless. What do you mean? What prophecy? I don't get it. We want to go home. We're not... Mom sent us here so that we wouldn't get mixed up in a war. You know, all this great stuff. The kids don't know what's going on. And the Narnians are like, the prophecy, finally, it's coming true. All the hints of the prophecy. What must it be like? Put yourself in the shoes of the kids. Wait, what? No. This is all a mix-up. We just want to make sure Mr. Tumnus is okay. We're not getting involved in a war. We're not political. We're not trying to save anybody or not save anybody. We just, you know, it's a really neat dichotomy. And then obviously, you know, Edmund. Edmund leaves. You know, has Edmund ever been to Narnia before? So here's where the stakes go up for the kids. Edmund's gone. Whoa, we just want to go home. We wanted to make sure Tumnus was okay, and now all of a sudden Edmund's gone. Wait, what? We need to get Edmund and we need to go home. So I love, here's where the stakes go up for the kids. Oh, for everyone. Oh, I'm wrong. The stakes go up for the Narnians before that. Oh, I screwed up my notes. Sorry, I screwed up my notes. So my note says, you know, here's where the prophecy starts to be fulfilled. Aslan's on the move. Here's where the stakes go up for the Narnians. Like, you're here to fulfill the prophecy. And they're like, we just want to go home. Then Edmund disappears and the stakes go up for the kids. And now we're all in the same boat. We may not have the same goals, but we're in the same boat. The stakes have raised for everyone. So I fucked up my notes, but that's what I meant. And it happens right, like, back to back. It's really, really good. As the audience, we're like, holy crap, now we're caught up. Now we get what's going on. Okay, now, Aslan's the only one that can save your brother. When they see him go into the castle, and they're like, well, now we have no choice. We can't go after him. Aslan's the only one that can save your brother. Now we're caught up. Now we go on an adventure. I love the little scene with Edmund drawing the mustache and the glasses on and you see that later. That's cute on the statue. Maugrim is such an asshole, and then you find out he's voiced by Michael Madsen. And of course he's voiced by. If you watch my review of Reservoir Dogs, you'll understand my. I don't understand why, but for whatever reason, Michael Madsen always just. He irks me. What did my brother... The other day, my brother texted me and he said, I finally watched The Hateful Eight and he loved it, blah, 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 you know. And I said, what did he say? He was like, he loved it when Mannix was like, finds out it's Grouch Douglas. I was like, I knew you did it. And my brother said, I love that reaction when he finds out he did it. And then I'm like, anytime Michael Madsen shows up in a movie, I know he's an asshole. And that's my prejudice. And that was not an exception to this film. When I knew he was in it, I was like, oh, he's got to play an asshole. He's got to play. And then when I find out he's Maugrim, of course he's Maugrim. Of course, of course. I don't know when that started, but for whatever reason, Michael Madsen has always appeared to me as just an asshole. And I'm like, okay, if he's in it, he's going to be an asshole. Find the asshole in the film. There he is. I'm not saying anything bad about Michael Madsen. I don't know him personally, but boy, you can play an asshole very well. Very well. I love that the White Witch finally shows her true colors to Edmund. Edmund's caught up in it. Not much he can do except for play it out and hope for the best. I love the camera angles. The beautiful camera angles when the wolves attack the beavers' home. They can do some really cool stuff. Not necessarily movements, but definitely, yeah, some of the movements and some of the angles are really cool when that happens. Tilda's great in the prison scene. I love the prison scene. She is so powerful and wonderful. You're here because this one gave you up for Sweeties. That whole piece is wonderful. She's playing one against the other. She doesn't give a shit about anybody but herself. And you can tell in that scene. And Tilda Swinton does such a great job at that. I hate that Tumnus becomes a statue. Oh, Tumnus is a statue now? Oh, shit. Oh. The misdirection. Oh, my God. So when Peter, Susan, and Lucy are running away with the beavers, and then they see the sleigh behind them, and they, oh, my God, it's the White Witch, and they run. Beautiful misdirection. Beautiful misdirection. They're only showing the reindeer running. It's great. And then, it turns out to be Father Christmas. I love James Cosmo as Father Christmas. Just brilliant. So fun and cheery. Such a different character than Braveheart. Like night and day. Night and day from Braveheart. So cheery and like unassuming. He's almost Jim Carrey. He's fun and playful and wonderful, and you expect to see him in a family friendly movie, in a Disney film, like this, as Santa, and that just shows his ability as an actor. He's great as Santa. The sword is beautiful. And I think I said in another review that an ex of mine for a Christmas gift got me a replica of that sword. And it was beautiful. Unfortunately, it came from overseas, and even the day I opened it, I didn't do anything wrong. The day I opened it, it had rust on it because it came from overseas and they didn't preserve it well enough. And so the salt in the sea air, they didn't oil it. So the salt in the sea air got to it, and there were parts of rust in it. But of course I kept it, and I had it on the wall for years and years and years. I don't know what happened to that sword. When I realized what I went through and what I had to deal with him, I think I got really angry at him at one point and threw everything away, and then resolved my issues with him. And I'm like, you know what? Move on. I'm not going to let him hurt me anymore. No matter how many times he cheated on me, no matter how many things he said, I said, you know what? It's not going to affect me anymore. I'm going forward. But I had already gotten rid of all this stuff, including that sword. So I no longer have it. But it's a beautiful sword. It's a beautiful sword with the lion head. It's very pretty, and the writing on it, it's very pretty. I told you he was real. I love that line by little Lucy when after they talk to Father Christmas, they're like, "I told you he was real. Santa's real." I love that they threw that they threw that in. It's really cute. The breaking ice is beautiful. Oh my God! Let's get through these notes. Elijah, you have pages of notes. Let's move through them. Holy shit. When the ice is breaking up and they're running from the wolves, Peter's not ready to kill yet. That confrontation with Malgrim, Peter's not ready to kill yet. You can see it all over him. He's still a kid. He's supposed to be like 14 or 15. He's still a kid. He's not ready for this. He's being thrown into this situation he's not ready for. And this just shows it. But Peter still saves, he still has the wits and the courage, and he saves his siblings. It's, Peter, Narnia needs him to be something more than he is yet. And you can see that in that scene. It's really, really well done. I love to see that the witch's hold is breaking because the snow is melting. And then they're like, you won't need those coats anymore because it's getting warmer. And you see the flowers on the trees. And the funniest one is when Ginnebrecht's like, it's so warm. And he goes to take off his coat. And he's like, oh, and he puts the coat. Like I said, his physical acting is fucking brilliant. And it makes up 100% for his line delivery sometimes not being so great. He's so warm. And then he puts the jacket on. I'll go check the sleigh. It's great. Fucking great. Fucking love it. I love it. I get that Edmund continues to disappoint when he tells the White Witch, you know, where Aslan's going to be. And you can see the clear disappointment on the fox's face. And then she says, think about whose side you're on, theirs or mine. You already know he sees the faults in her. He wishes he was on the other side, but he's kind of stuck. How do I get free of this? And he can't do it on his own. He's fucking 12. You know, he can't do it on his own. And we get that. We get that. It's really well done. Narnia is absolutely beautiful in the green. I made this note. It is absolutely beautiful in the green, in the summer, springish look. But boy, I miss the snow. That's just me. I miss the snow and the winter. Liam Neeson as Aslan. Okay, I remember. Do you remember? Were you alive then? Did you remember? When Liam Neeson did Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. And it was a okay, I'm being generous, flop. People were very critical about that film. I remember he said he was retiring. I'm done. I'm done with acting. I'm so done. He retired or was retiring from acting. And I was like, oh man, but you've done some great stuff. You know, I remember Nell. He was so damn good in Nell. And I remember Before and After. He was so damn good in... Oh my God, it was... The movie's called Before and After, right? Yes, Before and After. You know, he was so good in these movies. I almost thought the title was different. He was so good in these movies. I said, please don't retire. You're really good. People, this is way pre-Taken, okay? And I was like, please don't retire. And then when I heard he was going to be the voice of Aslan, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a stepping stone, but please don't retire. Don't retire. So I remember the angst of hearing Liam Neeson was going to do the voice of Aslan and like hoping he's not going to stay true to his word where he said he was going to retire. Please don't. You're a great actor. And I am glad he didn't. And look at his career since. Like, wow. You've done some great stuff since. And I'm glad you didn't retire. And I think his voice is perfect for Aslan. I think they adjusted it. I have a funny feeling. Because you listen to him in the movies, he's not that bassy. He's not quite that James Earl Jones bassy. But they do that. They adjust it, I think, in the film. And make it a little more... They adjust the bass volume in his voice delivery so that he sounds much more like, a little more like James Earl Jones. And he's doing the bassy because he's a big lion, he's the king, and he needs to sound like that. But it's Liam Neeson. So they allow him to be that way. I love that scene between Peter and Aslan. It's great. It's wonderful. There's a lot of revelation in that. There's a lot of, I need you, you need me. I need you to be more than you are. I care for my people. And I know that you're the hope, but it is your choice. So there's a lot going on in that scene that you should just rewatch it. And if you thought it was passable, rewatch it, listen to them, pay attention. There's a lot more going on in that scene than you think. A lot more. And I like it. It's great. You know, all that whole scene before Susan and Lucy, Susan calls with the horn. Before that. All that little scene there. It's great. And when she does call with the horn, I have this huge note. Oh, I have this other note. Oh my goodness. So, in that scene with Aslan, this is what the big note is, not the other one. In that seat with Aslan, you can see William Moseley. He has his face like this a couple of times, but he's got all this great facial expression going on that you can't really quite see. And then when Susan does call, he cuts out of the camera and's like, "Oh, Susan," you know, you understand that William Moseley is new to film, but he is dedicated to acting. And these are the scenes where, I can't really point out much now because I don't follow him much now as I probably should. Because some of the stuff that he's been in, I'm like, not my thing. Not my thing. Not my thing. But there are some things that I want to see that he's been in that I should watch to see if he still has this instinct for acting. And what I mean by that is when he's a kid in this film. 18, 17, 18. He was 18 when I met him, or 19 when I met him. Anyway, you can see in these scenes where he accidentally has a bad angle, or he cuts out of the screen real quick and you can't really see he's acting his heart out. And he's doing a great job. But he's not thinking about the camera and where the camera is and is the camera capturing me. So he's not used to film, but he is acting his heart out. And I love that. And then my big note here is when he does go to Susan and Lucy when they're being attacked by Maugrim. That attack with Maugrim. Okay, so here's the second note that I have. The Weta weapons. They made great, beautiful designed weapons, but they don't look realistic. And here, it's not about his strength, because he's holding the sword very well. And he's got two hands and he's holding it straight in front of him at the attacker. But you can see the front of the blade is wobbling. Wobble, wobble. A real sword wouldn't fucking do that. Sorry. A real sword would have been forged over and over and over. Recast and recast and recast. It would have such a strength to it. It would not wobble like that. And it really, like this blade wobbles. And you're like, what the fuck? Why is that? It looks... Anyway. It's beautifully made, but not practically made. And that's okay because we're watching a movie. But at times like this, you can see that it's not. You know, I can say the same thing for Red Sonja. The weapons in that movie looked like fucking tinfoil. Looked horrible, in my opinion. I like that movie. It's nostalgia factor. I enjoy it. I watch it. I mean, the soundtrack is goddamn brilliant. Ennio Morricone. Is it Morricone or Morricone? I don't know. Morricone? Morricone? His soundtrack is gorgeous in that film. I love that film. It's so fun and wonderful and fancy, but the weaponry looks like tinfoil. Especially compared to like Conan, where the weaponry looks real and brilliant and wonderful. Not like this. I told you I can go off on tangents and give spoilers for shit. Well, I don't know if that was really spoilers. Okay. Moving on. The killing of Malgrim never really felt like Peter meant to do it in this film. It looks like a mistake. Elijah, let's move. You got pages of notes. It looks like a mistake, and I wish they would have made it more purposeful instead of looking like a mistake, because he jumps on it, falls, and like kills him. Okay. There is no need to speak to Edmund about what is past. I love that level of forgiveness. It's gorgeous, and it's represented in just that one little line, let's move on. Really well done. I love that Lucy hits the bullseye with her dagger, and Susan is like somewhere on the outskirts or whatever with her arrow. I love that they're showing Lucy can hit the bull. It's great. Great idea. Whoa, horsey. My name is Philip. It's such a cute little, my name is Philip. Such a cute, fun little unexpected, like, these animals are, personalities can talk and, you know, interact. I like that. It's brilliant that not only is the snow going away and the White Witch's hold is going away, but when we finally see the White Witch again, her crown of ice has melted and it's like barely showing through her hair. Love it. Great design. Whoever was paying attention to that, whoever did that, great job. Wonderful, wonderful idea. The boy shall die at the stone table as is tradition. Enough! I will talk to you alone. I love that Aslan bargains for Edmund's life. And we know that's what's going to happen. I know that this is meant to symbolize, because C.S. Lewis was Christian, this was meant to symbolize Christianity. I get it. But it doesn't fall so hard into Christianity that it can't be enjoyed by people who are not Christian. I think this story still makes sense to people who are not religious, who are not Christian, who don't particularly, you don't have to believe in the story of Jesus Christ to get what's going on here. And I know that he leaned that way, but the film is done in such a way that it doesn't have to be that way. I know. The deep magic. The sacrifice is so well done. I don't think it's too traumatizing for kids when he walks through the crowd and they're beating him and then they shave him, and, you know, I don't think it's too traumatic. I think it's really well done. When I did the stage version, at that point we came out, we had like 4 different manes that I wore. 3 or 4 at least like 3 or 4 different manes that I wore. And at this point, when I came out with a mane that was detachable. So it was literally held together with Velcro, but it still looked like a mane so that they could cut it off and throw pieces of it everywhere. And then at the end, I looked shaved because it was, you know, Velcro. You have the sticky parts of the Velcro or whatever on the inside. And so it looked like I was shaved. And then afterwards, when I'm lying there and they do the resurrection, they pull that off and they put a white one on and blah, blah, blah. When the lights go out, they put me in all white and like put the white mane on. And, you know, I had like 3 or 4 different manes on when I did that. I think it was great. It was great. The mice, when they bite the... Oh, the great cat is dead. Hold on, before the mice. I love that the great cat is dead! And the beautiful black contacts that she has in the White Witch. Oh, that shocked me. And it looked gorgeous. When she comes down and kills him, and then she's like, the great cat is dead. Wow. Wow. I loved it. Cinematography wise, it was gorgeous. The coloring, everybody there, the flames, the fire that's going, it's just gorgeous. Really, really well done scene. Okay, I had heard, back to the mice that chew off his bindings. I had heard, and I think this is true, or maybe I read it, that Anna Popwell was Popplewell, or is it Popwell? I don't know how the English say it. It's either Popwell or Popplewell. Popplewell. We know that the English say Wilshire instead of Wilshire. Or maybe that's just me. I still say Wilshire. Why? Because it's written Wilshire. And I may be stupid for that, but I'm going to continue to be stupid. Anyway, Popwell. I think it's Popwell. I heard that she was afraid of mice. And so this scene where the mice cut his bindings, it wasn't her. It had to be a stunt double. And I totally get that. If you watch my review of Legend where I said the glitter on I literally suffer from, I'm clinically diagnosed with sparkleophobia, which is a phobia of glitter. I know it's ridiculous. I get it. But that doesn't mean that it's not real. So I know that she's afraid of these little tiny mice, which can't do anything to you. I used to have a mouse when I was younger. I had a mouse as a pet. I get that, but I get that it's real. And so from what I heard, that this had to be a stunt double because she couldn't handle it. The battle scene, the music in the battle scene, I mean, oh my God, it's so brilliant and so sweeping and amazing. When the Griffin comes in the beginning of the battle scene and talks to Peter, I think that it still to this day, I literally just watched it a little while ago, an hour and a half ago. I just watched it. It's still beautiful to this day. It looks so great. He has this light film over him. Like I talked about, the Jurassic Park dinosaurs have this little bit of a... Actually, they have a pretty big film, like light film over them that makes it look not real anymore. But this, now watching it today, I was like, it has a light film over it, the Griffin does, but still looks really well done. And the movements of the mouth make it look like he's talking. I think it's brilliant. It's gorgeous. One of the best, that special effect stands up to today. I think it looks great. I love that the White Witch is wearing Aslan's mane during the battle scene. That's so great. I don't remember if that was part of the book, but brilliant to have it in the film, that she's wearing the mane that she cut off of him. Like, wonderful. I have this big, long note. Let's see if we can get through this kind of quick. Self-sacrifice. Does self-sacrifice really work if you know the outcome? Aslan says if she had understood the deep magic, she would have known that anyone who lays down his life for an innocent, through no fault of their own, the stone table will crack and even death itself will reverse. Is it really a sacrifice if you know the outcome is you're coming back? And I had the same note for Constantine. Fucking love the end of Constantine. But when he commits suicide to talk to Satan, spoilers, when he commits suicide to talk to Satan, to tell Satan, your son and Gabriel are about to bring about the second hell on earth, and Satan stops it. And then he says, all I want is the sister. I don't want me. But in sacrificing himself and saying, I want the sister, he ends up, instead of going to hell, going to heaven. If you knew the outcome, is it really sacrifice? It's that weird filmmaking flaw. How do we make the hero look like the hero and do an actual self-sacrifice, but he already knows what the outcome of the sacrifice is going to be? It's a dicey situation. It's a little complicated. How do we do that and really make it look right? And I put this here because that's where it belongs. Okay. I love some of the great camera angles in the battle scene. I'm going to talk about that later. What I really want to talk about, let's talk about the statues. I love the statues when Aslan is waking them up. I'm trying to get through this, an hour 8. When Aslan is waking them up and you see statue, but you see the statue move when he breathes on it, and then they melt like ice. Whoever thought of that, really well done. Because they're supposed to be stone. She turned them into stone, but he breathes on them and they move as if they weren't stone, and then they melt as if they were ice, and then they come to life, and the color changes. Like, really well done. Really well done. Peter's not king yet. Edmund knows what's going to make the difference. He sees that the advantage the queen has, the White Witch, excuse me, the advantage the White Witch has is her staff. I need to stop that. And here is where there's real sacrifice. He is not thinking about what will happen if I sacrifice. Lucy will save me. No. He doesn't think about that at all. What he thinks about is, I need to stop her. I need to get rid of that staff. He does at the sacrifice of himself, thinking that he is probably going to die. He doesn't know if Lucy's going to save him. He's not thinking about that. He's thinking about stop the White Witch. And the White Witch has an advantage. It's that staff that's turning things into stone. Great part. There's a real self-sacrifice. This fight. Here's where the angles come into view. This fight with Peter and the White Witch, it's so great. These angles, specifically the camera angles that are looking from on top, literally looking on the top of their heads, looking down on top of them. I love those camera angles. It's very, very rare, if ever, I have seen that camera angle on an action sequence. But watching it in this film, I'm like, it's beautiful watching it from that point of view. And I wish there was more of that point of view. It's only a couple of quick little inner cuts of that whole fight scene, because a lot of the fight scene is done, on a level plane. But when they're looking down like that, it looks so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. I love it. It's great. The sword in Peter's... So when Peter falls and she supposedly stabs his arm with the sword, whoops, like a little bit of a fuck up. You can clearly see it's on top of his arm. It's not anywhere near anywhere. It's like right here, and he's totally free. He's totally free. A little bit of a mess up, but you got to move on. When Aslan defeats the White Witch, or so we think, because if you read the books, that's not really what happened. I may be wrong about that. I'm almost positive. If you read the books, he didn't actually kill the White Witch. Because she shows up later? Shit. I may be wrong about that, and I'm not going to argue. It's a minute 11. When Aslan defeats the White Witch in this film, I love the idea of speeding everybody else up to the point of blur and slowing Peter and Aslan down. I never would have thought to do that, and it creates such an interesting effect, and you're like almost to the point of chills, like, whoa. It's significant, and we've made it more significant by doing that, by blurring everybody else out because nobody else matters. It's a really neat effect. It's the only time they do it in the film, and I thought it was really cool. Really cool. When Susan shoots Ginnebrick, I'm just like, wait, that's so corny, but like, okay, I kind of accept it. And I just think, part of me feels like, let's not put that in the film. It's a little too corny, a little too, let's cut that. I don't care. I don't need to see Ginnebrick die, and it really wasn't done that well. We don't need it. The music at the coronation is gorgeous at the end. I mean, so many times the music is brilliant. I could literally just listen to that soundtrack, and I probably am going to tonight listen to the soundtrack. It's so perfect. The outfits that they're all wearing at the coronation is gorgeous. Just beautiful. All that velvet, that beautiful velvet. Everybody looks great at the coronation. Once a king or queen of Narnia, always a king of queen. Wonderful line. I love that, and that's why they come back in the second book, because they are kings and queens of Narnia. I am not going to review the other movies. I don't think they're worth it. Honestly, I find Ben Barnes's insanely ridiculous accent, Spanish accent in the second film, so horrible that I'm like, no matter how good the rest of the film is, I cannot mark that anything up above like a 2.5, maybe 3. He just, honestly, I saw this YouTube video, and I probably should mention, I saw this YouTube video like movies where one actor ruined the whole movie. And I would absolutely say Prince Caspian is a movie where one actor ruined the entire movie. And his accent is so despicably horrible. It is nowhere near Spanish. Why did you hire an insanely English actor and then ask him to do a Spaniard Spanish accent? It was just horrible casting. Sorry. Horrible casting. Poor acting. Bad. It's like, I'm sorry, Kevin Costner is not good at accents. He's just not. And so don't try. Please don't try. We're okay with you not doing an accent. Please do the film and not do an accent. We're okay with that. But this just, in my opinion, ruined the entire film. So I will not do a review of the other films. The third film, I don't remember liking all that much, and I don't know why. And honestly, I'm going to rewatch it in the next couple of days to figure out, why didn't I like that? Because it's on Hulu right now. And I'm like, what? Why didn't I like that? I need to rewatch it. Did I like it? Did I not like it? Was I just prejudiced at the time because William Moseley wasn't in it? Peter? I don't know. I need to rewatch that one and figure out what I think. Anyway, let's get back to this. The return after so many years, the end scene, that beautiful, like when they return and they're kids after so many years. I love that. What were you all doing in the wardrobe? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. I love that scene. And when Broadbent throws the ball to William Moseley, to Peter, I heard that they messed up, and the first time he threw it, he hit Peter in the face. He hit William Moseley in the face. Oh, poor, William Moseley is the only one that can confirm if that's true or not. I'm sure Broadbent might be able to confirm, but I thought that was cute. That part at the end is beautiful. You know, try me, which gives you the hint and the thought that the professor has been to Narnia. He has to have known what Narnia is and what it's all about. And then I love the movie ends on, I already tried. You can't get there that way through the wardrobe. I already tried, but keep your eyes open. And that's not how they get there in the second book. They don't get there through the wardrobe. They get there through another avenue. So that's kind of the point. Anyway, The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing movie. Totally family friendly. Watch it with your family. Watch it for Christmas, absolutely, or around Christmas time. It's a brilliant film. Sorry this review is a little long, but I had a lot to say, especially about my personal connection to the film, seeing the world premiere in London 18 years ago. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll get you another video within the week, I'm sure.